This is Thinking Thursday for September 12th, 2024. I hope you're all doing well. Today, I want to talk about the importance of actively listening as a core function of leadership. Before we get started with that, let's do a quote. Ernest Hemingway said, "When people talk, listen completely. Most people never listen." This idea of listening is an important micro lesson, I think, something for me to give to you to think about because it's important. Why? Because the research that I've done says that it's also a building block to trust. If I'm not willing to listen to you, if I am indifferent to what your opinions are, how can I trust you? Do you ever think about it? If you've talked to your supervisor and you've given your opinion in a meeting or in a one-on-one, and they ignore you, or they say, "Oh yeah, well," or they immediately knock it down and they don't even give it any credence, what does that make you feel like? How do you trust your supervisor if they won't even take the time to hear you and listen to you? You don't respect my opinion. And it's also detrimental to success because if you think you know everything, you're in a bad mental place as a leader because you don't know everything. Let me just be honest with you. You don't know everything. That's why you need people around you who have different perspectives and different experiences to help broaden that knowledge, to broaden that perspective so that when you make decisions, you can make them with the best information you have available. Not all information, because you're not going to have everything. So I've said this before, and I want to make sure, I don't know, I'm not harping on this, but I just think it's so important because I've had a lot of experience with people who are a little more reserved, right? Or maybe they're just not reserved, but they don't jump in very often in conversations or in meetings or in brainstorming sessions. They kind of hold back. Maybe because of their position, maybe because they don't trust what they say is valuable. And I need to implore you as leaders to pull them into the conversation. Many times, my experience has been that those people have some of the most important things to say. Many times, they're the obvious things that people just forget, overlook, or think they're not important. So the act of actively listening is also important for a leader who makes decisions, right? Because it's dangerous to make a decision in a vacuum. So what is this term active listening? What is it really? It's paying close attention to what someone is saying, understanding their intent, and responding in a way that shows you've heard them. Putting away distractions and really focusing on the conversation. So what are the key things? I want to give you some tools. What are some things that you could use or implement to actively listen to people around you? And remember, this not only affects you in the workplace, but it affects you outside the workplace because relationships are important. So number one, this is my favorite. Listen to understand, not to respond. Listen to understand, not to respond. How often do we interrupt people in the midst of their saying something because you think you know what they're saying and you're ready to give that response? Pay them some respect and listen completely to the end of their sentence. This is hard for many of us. I've had to teach myself and work diligently at this because I'm excited and I'm an A personality and I want to have my thoughts said and what do? You shun the people who are talking. I've had experiences in meetings, in situations where I'm responding to someone and someone else jumps right into my in the middle of my remarks, my presentation. So focus on this, ladies and gentlemen. Let the person talk. We saw it in the debates the other night, that weird thing that was going on there where, I'm talking kind of thing. So listen to people. Let them say what they need to say because there could be some nuances that you may miss if you jump in and respond. Second thing, listen with an open mind. right? Try not to formulate your decisions based or how you're going to take this information based on what whoever the person is speaking and what the topic is. Maybe they're not high on your list, right? Maybe this is not a topic you care about, but pay them the respect to listen and understand what they're trying to say, because this is important to them. 3, acknowledge what's being said, right? We've all heard that you should nod and do that. I'm not necessarily advocating that you do all that, but at least be engaged in the conversation. And where it's appropriate, add some comment. Yes, I hear that. Yes, I've seen that before. Yes, I've been involved in that before. Whatever it is, so that you're engaged and you're signaling to the person who's talking that you're engaged. And last, they always say to you, repeat and rephrase, right? Well, sometimes I do that. I've caught myself doing it regularly because I want to make sure what I say and how I interpret what was said when they're finished is exactly what the person was trying to say. This happened to me last night in a committee meeting. I rephrased something so I could transmit the question to someone who was on a Zoom call. We were in a meeting, and I rephrased the question the way I thought I heard it, which wasn't exactly word for word what was said. So I asked the person, did I get that right? Was that what you wanted me to transmit to that person? Okay. This stuff is important. It is a paramount skill for you to know and master. I always try to talk less and listen more. I don't know where that advice came from, but it's really paid dividends for me, and I hope you will think about it too. Last thing I want to do before I close here is I've been talking about this Mastery Lab. browningadvisors.com/mastery. Look at that Mastery Lab. If you're a person who is looking for some help in setting goals and overcoming obstacles to those goals, or really wants to set a plan for how I can improve and get better at being me, the Mastery Lab has the Peak Potential Network is a perfect opportunity for you. The second one is if you're somebody who isn't in a leadership position or responsibilities right now, but you aspire to be there, but you've never had any formal training, the Emerging Leaders Lab is an important one for you to jump into once a month for an hour. You get some training. Second meeting that month is we do some Q&A. And the last one, if you're an experienced leader and you want to get to another level, join the Uphill Leaders Fellowship. We'll help you grow other leaders. All right, so reach out to me at info@browningadvisors.com. I'd be happy to help talk to you, talk through this. You can call me at 215-821-7592. That stuff's all on the screen. Next week, we're going to talk about employee engagement. What is it and why is it important to leaders? Look, thank you for watching these videos. Please pass them around to other people. Hopefully there's something here that you can grab onto, and keep watching. I've got lots more announcements coming on things we're doing, and we'll talk to you again next week. Take care.